YouTube and Twitter. Tonight, I'm joined by James and Johnny, and we finally get to break down a Red Sox win. How are you guys doing tonight?
Better.
Good. Always nice to be back in the win column, that's for sure.
100% agree. It got a little bit scary there at the end once Garrett Crochet got into his seventh inning of work and over 100 pitches. But the Red Sox pulled out a win tonight. Finally, it's a lot better to be 3-8 than 2-9. Still a long way to go, but I guess we should start with Garrett Crochet tonight because he did everything an ace should do, and he's done all last season. He finally put the team on his back tonight and said, guys, I'm going to get you a win. So that's what he did. What are your initial thoughts about Garrett Crochet tonight? We'll start with you, Johnny. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, it was nice because we were able to see him dominate like he did in his first start of the year. He did the same, very similar to that. Went 5 straight innings without giving up a run, nothing. But he also got nothing in this on the other side. So it kind of got a little hairy there. I was glad he was able to actually see them score runs while he was still in the game, because that would have been brutal if he went another start where that happened to him twice this year in only 3 starts. But at the end of the day, they pulled out the win, and Garrett Crochet looked great.
Yeah, Crochet was the man. He's the stopper. There's a reason why he's the ace. There's a reason why he's paid the big bucks, and he lived up to that billing tonight. 6 1/3, 5 hits, only 2 earned runs, walked 2 and struck out 7, and really didn't run into any trouble until the 7th when he kind of just ran out of gas. Thought he's probably stayed in for a batter or two too long, but also completely understand Cora putting his entire trust in him instead of anyone in the bullpen or the offense. It's like, all right, you're the pig, go out there and get it. So, for me, Crochet was great. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. And it was just, great to get back into the win column. I wanted to bring up something. This was a graphic that they showed on the broadcast. Nick, I don't know what graphic you have planned, but I just have his whiff percentages through the first 5 innings that they showed on the broadcast. Excuse me, through the first 6 innings. So I just don't have the 7th. But this was, I thought, it was great how much his whiff percentage went up as the game went on. In the first inning, 13.3 whiff percentage, and then in the second, 17.4. Innings 3 through 5, it really spiked. 30% in the third, 40% in the fourth, and 19.2% in the fifth. So, as the game went on, his whiff percentage got higher. The strikeouts obviously came as they went as well. But really, Crochet just did his thing and put the team on his back to get them back in the win column. That was ultimately the most important thing, and that's what, he's paid the big bucks to do, and that's exactly what the War Pig did.
I think it's the first time this season that a Red Sox pitcher has gone into the 7th inning. So that's a big improvement on any starting pitching outing we've seen so far. I'm glad that Johnny brought up that it was nice for him to have an outing where he could see the offense actually score runs. They scored runs for him in the 6th inning. I kind of make a tweet every single day about our starting pitcher. And, I put the line out there with the whiffs, the amount of pitches and everything, kind of like in this graphic. I do that every single day, and I give a little bit of like a blurb at the end. And originally I had drafted up, it really sucks that he's going to go out there and he's going to get a no decision for a great outing. But finally the offense broke through for him in the 6th inning. So that was great to see. And I'm glad he brought that up because I would have been pissed off right now if Garrett Crochet threw 7 shutout and the Red Sox lost tonight. I would have been even more upset than I've ever have been in the last 10 games before this, but I'm very glad it's a very different outcome. And Garrett Crochet had a great outing, and the offense finally broke through against Mizorowski. He kind of lost it there in the 6th inning, and the bullpen once the bullpen came in. So positive podcast tonight. I'm happy. But yeah, any thoughts about that?
It was kind of a similar outing for both starters. Mizorowski obviously racked up the Ks. He had 10 tonight, but they were really cruising. Mizorowski threw 5, Crochet threw 6, and then their last inning, they kind of ran out of gas. And, what it took tonight was just one swing from Story. The next step for Crochet is pitching with a lead because, I guess in the bottom of the first against Houston last week, he pitched with a lead and gave that up right away. But, 2 of his 3 starts this year, it's been either right after he came out or right before he came out that the team took the lead. But, nice to see Story drop down to the 5 spot these last 2 nights and pick up 4 RBIs. Coming through big today. The Sox only had 3 hits, but he came through with the biggest one. Probably the biggest hit of the season thus far.
I mean, I think I was pretty vocal. I've been pretty vocal in our group text about where and what's been going on with Story. That was the main thing. It's like getting him out of that 2 spot.
Yep.
Personally, I feel like he needed to maybe sit a day. He hasn't sat yet. I feel like he needs a day. He like
a mental reset.
He needed a mental reset, exactly.
Yeah.
So we saw defensive issues. We were seeing the offense was clearly an issue. he definitely his last 2 at bats tonight though, we definitely saw him put a better chart. One, he got the double on, but then the other one was when he, that it was an out, but he put a nice ball
Yep.
into right field. Like
Yep.
it was positive to see him barreling a baseball. And he did it twice in back-to-back at bats. But like at the same time, I still think he might need a day. I mean, the defense still looks shoddy. I mean, that double play that got missed, it was a clean, easy, probably double play on any other day. But the way he just has been, he bobbled it, and then he led Mayer way too far, and he got there late at the time. So like it was just a lot of things have just been kind of like piling up, and I understand Cora's with him, especially with him, where I feel like he looks at him as more of the leader. We've been talking about leaders and stuff like that. I feel like the way he handles the younger guys, mainly Mayer, and we've seen him with Mikey Romero. He does that camp, the camp in the summer with all like the younger players.
January,
yeah, which is great. And I think I think that's what Cora kind of sees him as more of like a leader. I definitely feel like he sees that. So like I understand he doesn't want to like maybe like disrespect him or feel a certain way. But there are days where I feel like you just need to kind of just be like, listen, time to take a seat. Maybe you have to, just reset, be the guy on the bench and figure stuff out, and we'll be back in there tomorrow. But it was good to see him do what he did today, offensively. But I definitely still think he needs that day.
Well, also big play to end the 7th inning. When Kelly came in, he came in, picked that backhand ball on the shortstop, on the short hop, made the throw to first. And I think that's kind of an underrated play because, like you've talked about, botched the double play ball in the 4th inning, has had some shoddy defense all year, but came up, obviously with the hit, but I think even bigger defensively with that play in the 7th, because if that ball gets by him, the game is tied. We saw that went last night, how that's gone on. This entire season, who knows what happens? So I really think, as big as the hit was, that play might have been bigger.
Yeah, for sure.
So we are praising Story a little bit, kind of breaking out of the shell tonight and finally producing some offense. But the Red Sox did strike out 11 times, 10 against Mizorowski. It still wasn't a great performance with the bats. I know Mizorowski was as tough as it possibly gets, but they still have work to do offensively. Did you see anything tonight that you were impressed with? I mean, I think Jarren Duran had a one good at bat. Wilson Contreras put up very good at bats all series long. Wilyer Abreu had a walk late in the game. So I don't know. There wasn't much offensively I saw today. But they did enough with Crochet on the mound. With any other pitcher on the mound, they lose this game. That's just kind of how I see it.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I ultimately think you're right. Obviously, only 3 hits against Mizorowski, but, 28 strikeouts through 3 starts for Mizorowski. You kind of expected that to come, but they did walk 5 times. So they were getting on base. Contreras has an 875 OPS, through these first 2 games in the series. He's just been an on-base machine. But, I think the biggest thing is just doing enough to get by and win this game, because it's kind of been when they're hitting, they haven't been pitching. They haven't been hitting. And then if they're pitching and hitting, they play terrible defense. Sometimes good baseball teams win low-scoring games. I'm not saying this is a good team right now, but just winning a game that good teams would typically win is a step in the right direction and getting back in the win column that way. So it's like, exactly, Cody. The locker room can breathe. Everyone can breathe. Guys can they don't have to keep going to the media answering questions about when are they going to get another win? When are they going to get another win? So yeah, obviously only 3 hits, but you're facing one of the better pitchers in baseball. They did enough to win, had enough traffic, and that was the biggest thing for me. Didn't matter how it looked, just getting a win.
Big talk of last night. I was going to say, you brought the media. A big talk of last night's show was the media. And we had comments from Wilson Contreras. We had talks from Roman Anthony's throw. We don't have that tonight, at least at the moment. I haven't really dug into the locker room questions after the game and everything, but I'm assuming it's not anything bad. I think it's all positive coming out of the locker room tonight.
It's a massive sigh of relief. That's what it is.
Exactly. That's very good.
Did you see when Connor Wong got hit?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they immediately panned to Wilson Contreras.
Yeah.
As
he
if
recognized it was a breaking ball.
As if he was like going to do something about it.
83 miles per hour.
Yeah.
That was not on purpose.
But
No,
exactly. As soon as he got hit, I saw they panned right to Wilson Contreras. I was like, what are they panning to him for? Like, there's like, I get it. Like, I guess they were just talking about it, but like, it was just so stupid. Like, he said what he said, and I don't know. It was just a very dumb, like, camera move. Like I watched it. I was just like, what the fuck are they doing right now? Like,
Will's comments after the game last night knew something was going to come if they hit someone, but they even kept the camera on when he made the curveball motion with his hand. So it was like, it wasn't a fastball that drilled him right in the thigh or something. It was a curveball that slipped. I think it was with 2 strikes too.
Yeah.
So clearly unintentional. And no warnings were issued. I think the umpires did the right thing in that situation, knowing that it could get chippy between the two teams.
In the first inning, when Mizorowski struck out Wilson Contreras, he did say F you to him. I mean, it wasn't right at him, but if you saw the replay, he was very fired up. And I think it was because of those comments from last night's locker room.
There's no love lost between Wilson Contreras and the Brewers. That's for sure.
I mean, I honestly thought that was going to lead to something later on in this game. It didn't, but I know Mizorowski's a young, fiery guy. And when you strike out a guy with 101 and you freeze him with a fastball, you could do whatever you want, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Isn't it kind of funny though? Like the catcher for the Brewers is William Contreras. So like you would think that like he would be in on hitting Wilson Contreras. Like he would have to be in. Like he had to know. Like what I'm saying is like when they like intentionally or how he feels, and they intentionally hit him, the catcher's aware of where the ball's going.
Or he should be the one that should be able to calm him down the most out of any person on the planet.
And exactly. So like, but like, that's my favorite part of it. It's like, okay, the guy who's pretty much calling the beanball is his brother. Like, I feel like that just goes lost. Like this whole thing, like no one's really like discussing the fact that like his brother's the one doing it. Like,
yeah, exactly. No, we touched on that a bit last night, but no brotherly love, that's for sure. It was funny when they were talking at first base tonight, too, when William got on. I think that was in the 5th inning. Maybe it was the 6th, but it was the 5th or the 6th when he got on.
Yeah.
And I would love to have been a fly on the wall for that conversation.
Just nuts, dude.
Yeah.
A couple more notes I have on this game was the bullpen usage. I know Crochet goes 6 1/3. He does everything he possibly can to win this game. And then we go to Kelly instead of Slayton or Whitlock in that crucial situation. I know it worked out, and he did let one inherited runner score, but it worked out in the long run. But is there a reason why Slayton was unavailable tonight? He didn't throw too many pitches in the last few games. I thought he would be available. I don't think it's an injury thing. We haven't heard anything. If anything, Whitlock was the guy who's thrown more pitches yesterday in his pretty bad outing. He did what he was supposed to do today, so I'm not really complaining, but that was the one thing I noticed. There was the lack of Slayton.
Cotillo tweeted after the game that so from Cora, from his presser, that Slayton has a sore oblique, which is why they went to Kelly in that spot. So makes sense. That was 10 minutes ago.
Okay, there we go.
Presser.
Well, that's it.
That's perfect.
Makes sense. Yeah. And
okay,
honestly,
how big of an issue is that? Because we're going to need Slayton. So a sore oblique can mean anything.
I bet they're gonna try to avoid him tomorrow. That way, you give him 4 off days from yesterday to Thursday with the off day, and have him ready to go Friday in St. Louis. I mean,
and tomorrow's tomorrow's a getaway day too. It's like an early.
It's a 1:30 game.
So,
yeah.
I mean, it makes sense, and it worked. I'm expecting to see a move after tomorrow's game.
To get a fresh arm up.
Yeah, especially. I mean, Moran is going to be cooked for at least 3 days. He threw almost 50 pitches yesterday in 3 innings. So that's a guy that can move out of here. Chapman, his stuff was down a little bit tonight. I'm not worried about him in the long run. I think once it gets to the warmer months, we'll see 101 from him again. I don't really think it's that big of an issue, but if it's something we could touch on, though.
Yeah, I mean, it was very cold out. It was in the 30s. Obviously just threw the 1 inning, and how many pitches did he throw? Like, he threw.
Chapman tonight was at 6. Yeah, he got a double play, first pitch fly out.
I'm not worried about that at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care either. It's just something we could touch on. Before we get into tomorrow's game, the rubber match, I do want to bring up the Casas re-injury that we found out about this afternoon. It doesn't look like we're going to be seeing him at least for a few months at this point. It seems a little bit more serious than it was. I don't have the exact tweets pulled up or the quotes pulled up at the moment, but basically Tristan Casas tried to swing today, and it seemed like, I don't know if he re-aggravated something, but basically he's not good to go to swing. We won't be seeing him for a little bit, and he's going to go and get more tests on. So It's not like we really needed him in this lineup. It's not like he had a place to play, but it's another option. If Wilson Contreras does go down for some games, we aren't going to have Tristan Casas as an option for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
According to Cora, the exact wording based on Cotillo's tweet was Casas tried swinging in Fort Myers and, quote, didn't go well, according to AC, and Casas is going to have imaging on his rib area as a result. So obviously not good. You know, that's the injury that he suffered in 24, and he was shut down for 4 months, probably rushed back a bit. You know, different conflicting stories there, but unfortunate to see it's the second time in a week now he's been shut down, then kind of restarted, shut down again. So especially when it's a different injury than that leg injury, which is ultimately, you know, what has kept him sidelined for so long. Hopefully he's all right, but probably is not a good sign, unfortunately.
I mean, I just don't. I'm the thing with him is I just don't think. James, I think me and you kind of we crossed wires a little bit.
Sure.
I don't think that he doesn't want to play.
Right.
Put it that way. I'll start with that. I don't think it's that he doesn't want to play. I don't think he wants to play when he's not. I don't think he wants to play if he's not 100. If he's not 100%, he can't play at 90. He can't play at 80. If he's not 100%, he doesn't want to play. That's my problem with him. I don't think. I'm not saying that he's not feeling pain. The problem is he doesn't want to ever play through it, and he's going to have to. He's a big league baseball player. How many players do you think deal with bullshit every day?
Oh,
every
a lot,
player in baseball.
I'm sure he also saw what happened to his ribs in 24, and maybe he doesn't want to jeopardize. We don't know how bad it is either. That's the other thing.
But last week, it wasn't as bad as they thought it was.
Sure, but now it is.
But now it is. Why? Because
I
he's probably feeling sore again.
Comes back.
Listen, his ribs better be shattered. That's all I'm saying.
We'll see.
If his ribs aren't shattered, then he needs to get back on the fucking field. Sorry for cursing, but like it's the same shit with him now. We've now dealt with this for the last what? Well, last year I'll give it to him. He tore his ACL. Is what it is. You can't really do anything with that.
Patellar tendon, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. Either way, that's a significant injury. I'll give him that. But like now, I feel like it's like okay, it needs to stop, and it's like there is no place for him to play. So like where even if he was healthy, where's he playing? Nowhere at this point. But like now you're hurting your trade value. You're hurting everything.
Oh, he doesn't have any.
He has none.
Yeah,
he has nothing. And like that's my problem with him now. Like I loved Casas. I want him to be successful. I was hoping that he'd be back because I always looked at it as like, okay, they didn't sign anybody. They didn't sign a big name for like power or anything. But like if he comes back, there's a power bat there.
Yeah.
And exactly. Then I kept thinking, and we talked about this before when it came to him, like there was the rumors of him not really, really rushing himself back. And then you just mentioned maybe he rushed himself back. I don't think he rushed, but I don't think he did.
Are the organization and him on the same page? That's the biggest question because I don't think they were in 24.
No,
so it's like are they now? Maybe it seems like they are now, but we'll see. I guess when the imaging comes back on his ribs.
But even so, like the injury was in 2024,
right?
So it clearly can't be the same. I mean, unless he just didn't take care of it at all, which is what was he doing in those months that he was out?
Yeah,
if he didn't take care of it, then
dry swings. He's taking dry swings.
Yeah, but like now, now we're 2 years removed from that now, and we're still dealing with the same problem. Is it a chronic issue? If it's a chronic,
I mean, if it's a cartilage issue, maybe it never fully healed.
In 2 years,
I don't know.
My thing with Casas is they have no place to put him, and with this injury, I don't think he's going to play again this season. And when it comes down to it, Wilson Contreras is under contract again for next season. There's a very good chance he's just non-tendered and we never see him play for the Red Sox again because that's where it's heading. It sucks because he had all the talent. He had the potential to be a 30 home run bat, a 250 hitter, a almost 360 on base kind of guy, a very good hitter in this league. But right now it's all gone. He doesn't have the talent. I'm not saying the talent. He can't stay on the field. There's issues with him in the clubhouse. I'm not going to talk about all that, but there are issues with him with players. And
I just think
other
he's a different
guys.
personality. I don't know if there's issues per se.
I agree,
Yeah.
but he doesn't mesh well with everybody. Let's put it at that. Not everyone's going to get along with him perfectly, and that's fine. He doesn't have to. But if he's not on the field, it makes it a lot worse. If he's not producing, it makes it a lot worse. And I think at this time, he's never going to play a game for the Red Sox again. And it's unfortunate, but even if he does come back from this injury late in the year, Wilson Contreras is starting over him. He's not getting at bats over Masataka Yoshida. He's not getting at bats over one of those outfielders. He's in the Christian Campbell category, and you already paid Christian Campbell.
Yeah, he's going to go hit 30 and 100 somewhere else once he gets healthy.
And I hope he does, but it's not going to be here,
too.
unfortunately.
We'll see.
I mean, it's just very it bothers me. It bothers me because I know what he could be, and I refuse. I won't let myself believe that he's not somebody who wants to play. I know he wants to play. I just think he wants perfect scenarios when he plays, and unfortunately, it's not a perfect game.
But I would think maybe he did in 24, but I would think at this point now he knows that it can't be a perfect scenario because he knows that like his career is at a crossroads. So like I get what you're saying, and it's like a lot of guys want that perfect scenario, but like at this point I think he has to be severely hurt because he knows like he's not even if he was fully healthy, the chances that he would have would be slim.
Or does he not want to play at 80% because he fears that 80% isn't good enough for him?
Isn't good enough? Yeah, I don't know. The streets will always remember his 2023 second half.
Yeah, of course.
Sure.
And I'll listen. I told you, like I was that was like a back of my head mind, like okay, like whatever, like we'll find power with Casas when he comes back. And now it's like okay, he hurt his ribs again, and like I hope and I almost want it to be something that he can get fixed. Like I want them to find something at this point, find something that where he can actually get it fixed. Because if it's nothing, if they're just looking at it and they're like, yeah, it's just like strained or something like that, like, all right, like what do we do here now? But does he just sit around again? And then what happens in 6 months when he comes back and he does it again and he feels soreness? Are we back in the same position, or is this who he's always going to be? Right. Like he needs to find that balance where it's like, okay, I'm going to either understand that this is how my ribs are going to feel and I need to figure this out, or I just kind of keep sitting out. I don't know. Like, I don't know. It just can't be where we have to like just keep hearing that like, okay, like and I'm not somebody who ever minds that he wears like the masks and does what he does. He is who he is. He's a different person, and I'm cool with that. But like, you can't be that and do this shit still. Like, you can't. It can't be both. Like, if you're gonna be weird, be good and go out there and do your thing. You can't be weird and just be like, I'm not playing at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I think we just have to see how bad the injury is because I think ultimately it's unfortunate because there's a lot of untapped potential there that has been taken away due to injury, and now I don't know if he'll ever be able to recover and reach that potential again. We'll see, but he's got to get back on the field first, which ultimately is not looking too good. It's looking pretty bleak right now.
Yeah.
So let's get into tomorrow's game. If you guys have checked the pitching matchups, it is Shane Drohan pitching against the Red Sox tomorrow for the Brewers against Sonny Gray.
Originally it was going to be Chad Patrick, but
that was what we talked about with Will in the first, or I guess it was 2 nights ago. We talked about that Chad Patrick. I originally had picked the Brewers to win the finale, but what do you guys think about Shane Drohan making this his Brewers debut against the Red Sox, his former team? He was traded. We'll give some context. He was traded in the Caleb Durbin trade along with Hamilton and Kyle Harrison. So this is a trade that so far hasn't looked good for the Boston Red Sox and Craig Breslow. And if Shane Drohan comes in tomorrow and shoves it up our butts, it's going to look even worse. But I don't know. I like the match. I'd rather face Shane Drohan than Chad Patrick. So that's just how I think in my mind. But Shane Drohan has the ability to do something really annoying tomorrow and shove it up our butts at a 1:30 midday game with not a lot of people watching and just kind of cruise by. And I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
What are your
I'd rather
thoughts
face
about
a
him?
righty. I'd rather face a righty in Patrick just because of the matchups with the lineup, with all of our lefties as compared to Drohan. And the two pitchers that we've traded in Milwaukee in the last year with Priester and now Harrison have both shoved. So wouldn't surprise me to see Drohan making his MLB debut tomorrow if he throughout the course of the season, he's going to be up and down, making spot starts, long guy to the pen, whatever he's needed for if he's able to figure it out. But hopefully they're able to find something that clicks offensively tomorrow. I'd probably roll out the same lineup. Maybe, I know it's a lefty. Maybe try to get Yoshida in there instead of another lefty if you can, just for the on base. But yeah, try something that clicks and hopefully it works out. Obviously Gray pitched great in the home opener on Friday, and hopefully he can continue that. I think an unfortunate trend for Gray is he just came from the NL Central in St. Louis, and his first 3 starts of the year are against NL Central teams. He can't avoid it. Or NL teams, obviously Cincinnati and Milwaukee and then San Diego. So, 2 of the 3 teams that are really familiar with him, but hopefully, he's able to keep it going.
I mean, Shane Johan hasn't. I mean, he's only had 1 start so far this year in AAA.
Yep.
Didn't really go well. 3 1/3, faced 18 batters, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 walks. Like it's. I mean, he was good for the Sox. He was decent in his minor league career with the Sox, but I mean, we'll see. I mean, but it's just par for the course when you send a player to Milwaukee at this point that they end up being decent at least.
Is
this
an opener situation tomorrow, or is he going to be out there for multiple innings? I know last year Milwaukee did this to us and started a lefty 3 straight games, and it was an opener. What is the reason Chad Patrick was scratched? Is he hurt, or is it an opener situation?
I'm not sure. I know that was originally, it was never. I don't think it was ever officially announced. It was just on Sunday, kind of, what they were thinking in terms, like what MLB.com had listed. So I don't know if it was, maybe they're bumping him back a day to Friday or Thursday.
Was that last year, or was that 2 years ago when the Brewers literally started the same pitcher back to back days against the Red Sox?
Wasn't last year.
It wasn't last year. It was at Fenway Park. They didn't announce a starting pitcher until like 25 minutes before the game.
It was 24 22.
I'll look it up. It was Jackson Cohen, that with the K last name. He started like 3 straight games. But I'm going to assume if Chad Patrick's not hurt, it is an opener situation, and we're only going to get an inning or 2 out of Shane.
No, they bumped him back because he was going to be. They're going to give him an extra day. That's what it was. He was just going to be on short rest. He was going to be on 4 instead of 5. So they're giving him an extra day, which makes sense, especially since they have Drohan available.
That's what
because they don't play till Friday.
Yeah, here it is. So in June 4th, 2024, Jared Koenig, the reliever for the Brewers, started back-to-back games as an opener against the Red Sox. I just remember Alex Cora made a comment. He was pissed off that they didn't announce their pitcher for about 25 minutes before the game. And I knew it was going to happen. It was the same guy that did it the day before and the day before that. So I don't know what you're going to expect, but I guess Cora was upset that he couldn't put his lineup out there accordingly to the opener. But I don't understand why teams don't do that more often. Why do you have to? You don't have to announce your pitcher 4 or 5 hours in advance. You don't have to do that.
More so a respect and game planning thing.
I think
I get it, but
and like the tradition. But I think you also have to officially submit a starter.
I think
you do by a certain time. I just don't know when that is.
I feel like
it's literally right before game.
You're starting to see it more in baseball, where it's like I feel like we're starting to see them back off like traditional things, and when they do, it's like everyone gets like up in arms about it. But like it's like we're like that. You are right though, James. It's definitely more of like the traditional good guy thing to do. Like here's this is my lineup a couple hours in advance. But like now it's it's definitely a strategy. It's definitely a strategy move.
Do you guys? I mean, I played travel tournaments when I was younger, and I used to remember when teams would warm up two pitchers at a time before the game. They'd start they warm up their lefty and their righty just because they thought they were cool. Their coach thought they were onto something. But like, they thought these like 15, 16-year-old kids were going to be psyched out because 2 starting pitchers were warming up. Obviously, it didn't make much of a difference, but I don't know why that isn't used more in the major leagues where you don't announce your starter, especially if it's an opener situation like the Brewers use all the time. Why don't they announce it until as late as possible and kind of screw over the other team?
lineups with righty lefties, everyone's looking for that advantage to keep somebody on the bench.
And I that's why you would do it. You would try to wait. I don't know, because once you announce the lineup, It's looks bad to scratch a player
I think
once the
also
other team.
a big
Yeah,
thing. I think another big reason that like they need it now, even more so, is because they're in bed with many sports books. So like they need that to
That's
be
it.
a thing. You know what I mean? They need you. They need to know who's starting. They need to be able to make their betting lines. They need to be able to make their run lines. They need to be able to do their prop bets, their K bets, all that stuff. So you have to have, because they're in bed with FanDuel, DraftKings,
transparency.
there needs to be some type of transparency between the league and them.
You're right, and it's unfortunate, but yeah, you're right.
That's
That's
100%
100%
what it
why.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to pick a winner for tomorrow's game? And then we can, it's been about 30 minutes. Not much. It was one game today, a good win, but I'm gonna say the Red Sox win, and we finally go out there. We jump on Shane Drohan. Not a lot of fans in the stands, but we win a game and we win a series for the first time in 2026. I'm gonna be positive and take a win. What about you guys?
Go ahead, James.
I'll follow suit and stay positive. Sonny Gray keeps it rolling at home. The Red Sox finally win a series and pick up win number 4.
I'm gonna stay with this. I think I like Sonny Gray, and I liked what he did in his last start. I do get a little weary because, again, like James mentioned, he's facing an NL Central team. But I think he can. I think he's going to grow off that last start. We've seen what Sonny Gray can do. We've seen him over the last couple years, and he's kind of been like that guy that not many people realize has been as good as he is. And I feel like tomorrow's going to be no different.
And guess what? His next start is against the Twins, which is
Another
another
former
one of his
team.
former teams.
There
So
you go. Yeah.
the familiarity just is not leaving him for whatever reason with his opponents. But
I'm sure he's going to play the A's soon too.
oh yeah, but no, I do think Sonny keeps it going, and the offense does enough against Strohan, and we have another happy podcast tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's get 4-8 and then get back to these Cardinals and the Twins after that, and hopefully we can get back to 500 as soon as possible. But it was nice to finally talk about a win tonight. If you guys have any final thoughts, I don't really have anything else I want to bring up tonight, but if you guys do, go ahead.
I do want to talk about Trevor's story again. Like I mentioned it earlier in the show. As much as like I want to be like negative, I guess, with him, he did have a good showing today with the bat. Like I mentioned earlier, I love the fact that he was able to barrel 2 balls up. We saw it was a positive for him. Also, though, I do think tomorrow needs to be for his first day off. He needs to take tomorrow off, and then we get back to him in the next series.
I think with a lefty on the mound, that's not going to happen because I think Meyer will sit for IKF or Monasterio, so they'll go Durbin, Story, IKF or Monasterio at second, have 3 righties there, and then keep it. I get what you're saying, but
it just needs to happen.
I think Cora did say IKF
days.
was going to start, so I do agree with you, James. I think IKF will start at second base, and then Durbin will be back in the starting lineup at third, and I think Story will have to be in the lineup against a lefty. But I agree with you, Johnny. I'm still okay with him taking a day, but with a lefty, you kind of need a guy that has a chance to run into a home run.
I was just hoping that it was going to be, but like here, like exactly, like him being able to barrel 2 balls today. He probably will run into a homer tomorrow.
Yeah.
But like it just, I figured like a night game into a day game about to be a travel. It's time. I think it would be nice to get him off.
To give him kind of 2 days off.
Yeah, give him 2 days. He's played every game. Like it's let him go. Let him sit out. Let him sit a game out.
Ken, I want to answer your question. If they can win tomorrow, I think so because they're playing at St. Louis and at Minnesota coming up, 2 teams that are projected to be 2 of the weaker teams in baseball. Obviously, right now have better records than the Red Sox, but overall, not high projections or much talent on those teams. Obviously 2 series on the road as compared to home, but if they can go into St. Louis and into Minnesota and take 5 of 6, those are super important to help them dig out of this hole that they're in right now. Go take care of business against those inferior opponents and come back to Fenway on Friday the 17th against the Tigers at or around 500. So it's like if they're going to turn the corner and dig themselves out of the hole, they're going to have to do it. Obviously continue it tomorrow, but really the next 6 after that at St. Louis and at Minnesota.
One more point I do want to make. Besides the New York Yankees, around the American League, a lot of the contenders haven't started well. The Mariners are down. The Tigers are down. The Blue Jays are down. The Orioles are down. A lot of the big-time names, a lot of the big-time contenders in the American League have had a slow start. So that is one thing you can say. The Red Sox haven't fallen super behind in the wild card. I mean, I know it's week 2 or 3 of the season, but they haven't fallen that far behind. They have fallen behind in the division against the Yankees. They're like 6 games back already. That's tough to make up with 4 guys in front of you. But like you said, if they can win tomorrow and then take 4 or 5 against those weaker teams and you're back close to 500 against the Tigers, yes, I think you could turn this around. And as long as you're 500 by the end of April, you're in it. I mean, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you're not 5-6 games under, you'll be okay.
Like we talked about last night, you can't win a pennant in April. You can certainly lose one in April. So just don't be in a position on April 30th where you're looking up and you're 8 games under 500. And it's like, okay, we just lost. We have to dig ourselves out of the hole for the next 4 months.
Dude, I feel like May. There's a lot of times where I feel like May is like the biggest month of the year.
Yeah.
Like May, like April, obviously, like you get the cobwebs out, but like I feel like April's like that month. I mean, May's like that month where it's like you are who you are. Like you're gonna really start seeing who they are.
Memorial Day is always the watermark, really, when you really not look at standings for the first time, but really kind of take everything more seriously and like, all right, this is where teams are at through the first, probably 60 games of the season and see where we go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very happy with the win. You got to win tomorrow. If you take this series, I think the tone in Red Sox Twitter, Red Sox fans will change slowly if they win tomorrow and can get to that 4-8 mark. 4-8 doesn't, when you just look at the standings, you see 4-8, that looks like a team that sucks. When you look at 2-10, that looks like one of the worst teams of all time.
Looks like the Rockies.
Yes. If you can slowly make up some ground, win some games against good teams like the Brewers, I'll be very happy. And then we'll start seeing a little bit of a tone change with the Red Sox fans. And that's all you could really ask for at this point is string together a few wins. If they lose tomorrow, I mean, we'll see how it would happen. But if we lose tomorrow, we're going to be talking about the same thing all over again. It's like, why can't they string together a couple of wins? Like, why can't we do this? If the offense is cold against Shane Drohan and a guy in his major league debut, why is that? We're going to just hope we win tomorrow and things will be a lot better. So that's kind of how I feel.
Yep.
No doubt.
Yeah. So thanks, guys, for watching. We're always live on Twitter after every game, Twitter and YouTube after every game. Now we're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can find us at Fenway Finale. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys again soon.